All right, guys. We'll take it from the top. Job 31. I have made a covenant agreement with my eyes. How then could I gaze lustfully at a virgin? For what is the portion I would have from God above, and what heritage from the Almighty on high? Does not tragedy fall justly on the unjust, and disaster to those who work wickedness? Facts. Does God see my ways and count all my steps? Facts. If I walked with falsehood, or if my foot has chased after deceit, oh, let him weigh me with accurate scales, and let God know my integrity. If my step has turned away from the way of God, or if my heart has covetously followed my eyes, or if any spot of guilt has stained my hands, then let me plant and let another eat from the results of my labor, and let my crops be uprooted and ruined. At first, I thought I said, let my crops be prorated, and those, and we should spread them out. We should spread across evenly. Crazy, right? If my heart has been enticed and I was made a fool by a woman, or if I have coveted, lurked at my neighbor's door until his departure, mm, let my wife grind meal like a bond slave for another man, and let others kneel down over her. For adultery is heinous and lustful crime. Moreover, it would be a sin punishable by the judges. For it is a fire which consumes a body, destruction, ruin, final torment, and illicit passion would burn and rage and uproot all my life's increase, destroying everything. If I have despised and rejected the claim of my male or female servants, when they filed a complaint against me, what then could I do when God arises to judge me? When he calls me to account, what will I answer him? Did not he who made me in the womb make my servant? And did not the same one fashion us both in the womb? Mm. Did not the same one who made me in the womb made my wife? And did not the same one fashion us in the womb? Mm. If I have withheld from the poor what they desired, or have caused the eyes of the widow to look in vain, or have eaten my morsel of food alone, and did not share it with the orphan, but from my youth the orphan grew up with me as a father, and from my mother's womb I would have been the widow's guide. If I have seen anyone perish for lack of clothing, or any poor person without covering, if his loins have not thanked and blessed me for clothing him, and if he has not worn with the fleece of my sheep, if I have lifted my hand against the orphan, because I saw that the Georges would be my help at the council's gate. Wait, so that right. Then let my shoulder fall away from his socket. That's hard. I would probably use that in like with in conjunction with some of my stuff and some of our notes that we took earlier. Lord, for we are only of yesterday and know nothing. If I know all, let my shoulder fall away from his socket. Y'all see what I'm saying? I would use that. I would get creative and use that because that's pretty. Talk to someone who has some shoulder surgery, man. I'll tell you. And my arm be broken off at the elbow. For tragedy from God is a terror to me, and because of His majesty and exaltation, I can do nothing, nor endure facing Him. If I have put my trust and confidence in gold, or have declared fine gold my hope and assurance, if I gloated and rejoiced because my wealth was great, and because my powerful hand alone had obtained so much, if I beheld the sun as an object of worship when it shone, or the moon going in its splendor, and my heart became secretly enticed by them, and my hand threw a kiss from my mouth in respect to them, this also would have been a heinous sin, calling for judgment, for I would have denied God above. Have I rejoiced at destruction of an enemy who hated me, or exulted in malicious triumph when evil overtook him? I saw my bully get beat up in high school. I mean, I just kind of walked away and smiled. I wouldn't know malicious triumphant dance or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking. Now, no, I have not allowed my mouth to sin. 30. By cursing my enemy and asking for his life. I assure you, the men of my tent have said, who can find one who has not been satisfied with his meat? He's just looking for people to help. The stranger has not lodged in the street, because I have opened my door to the traveler. I only pause right there because we won't even I might not even let my window down for, you know what I'm saying? That's for somebody at the stoplight sometime. Alright, but you gonna open up for, alright, here we go. Have I concealed my transgressions like Adam or like other men by hiding my wickedness in my bosom? Because I have feared the great multitude, and the contempt of families terrified me, so that I kept silence and did not acknowledge my sin and did not go out of the door. Oh, that I had one listen to me. Look, here is my signature mark. Let the Almighty answer me. Let my adversary write out his indictment and put his vague accusations in tangible form. Surely I would proudly bear it on my shoulder and bind the scroll around my head like a crown. I would count to him the number of my steps with every detail of life, approaching his presence as if I were a prince. For if my land has cried out against me, and its furrows weep together, if I have eaten its fruits without paying for them, or caused its rightful owners to lose their lives, let thorns grow instead of wheat, and stinkweed and cocoa burrs. That's where my mom and grandma got that from. Cocoa burrs. That's a real thing instead of barley. What? Yeah, I would really use that. Let my shoulder fall from my socket. You might can start it off like that when you read the scripture, and you know what I'm saying. Just be like, yo, Lord, look here. This what you say right here. If this ain't true, let my shoulder fall from my socket. This is your word I'm reading right now. Straight up. All right, let's go. All right, before I start the next one, it's gonna be a whole thing. I'm gonna put that on another one. So that first one will be Job 31. 32, Elu got something to say. We're gonna start that next.